The drivers for transit agencies to accept open bank cards can be categorized really into two parts. First, there's the economic drivers. They're pretty straightforward. That includes, for example, operational cost savings by transferring functions such as card distribution to a third party. It can also include reduced maintenance due to the use of solid-state technology. You have to maintain and clean just the readers and the card acceptance devices significantly less than in a magnetic stripe or a cash-based world. There may also be some revenue increases due to the reduction in fraud. And most transit agencies across the world have experienced this in one form or another. So there are some statistics available that this can be substantiated. Now, the non-revenue side is not so straightforward. This is where the unique characteristics really come into play. Like, for example, there are transit agencies, and Washington Metro is an example of this, where a higher level of customer service is one of the key drivers for deploying open bank cards. Now, the other thing is we need to recognize is that ridership demographics really drive whether this works well for a transit agency or not. In New York City, you have a lot of high-end commuters. Versus Los Angeles, you have a lot of transit-dependent migrant guest workers that really use the transit system a lot. So the key driver at the end of the day for the non-revenue drivers is really what are the goals and objectives of a transit agency. And they need to figure that out first of what it is they want to accomplish before embarking on one of these projects. The first driver that made this open bank cards possible in transit is what I would call the deflection in the vector, and that happened when MasterCard PayPass started its pilot with McDonald's, CVS in New York City to really try out the technology. And that was the first sign that the financial services community or the financial services industry embraced contactless technology. And while simultaneously, the other thing that was happening is that all of a sudden the capabilities, the cost of wireless services, and the performance standards of wireless services were increasing, and substantially, the costs were substantially decreasing simultaneously. So that those two elements together created the environment to make open contactless payments work in transit. First and foremost, most important is they need to recognize that one size is not going to fit all, or this is not a single solution that is going to solve all of their fare payment problems. The benefits of moving, for example, the benefits of moving from a magnetic stripe system to an open payment bank card system are going to be substantially greater than if somebody already has a closed-loop contactless payment system deployed, and then they just migrate to an open bank card system. So that you have two completely different pictures, you have two completely different projects that you're going to embark on. Second, I would say mobile, mobile, mobile. What you do today, meaning in deploying your system or deploying open bank cards, is going to position a transit agency to take advantage of the mobile developments. Now, what we would recommend is that you start slow and simple. Starting slow and simple means you focus on making small incremental changes because it allows you to manage technical risk of deploying such a solution. And in the mobile space today, and we've proven this in a few pilots, is, the first phase is just put the card application into the memory of the phone, and that's it. So basically the phone emulates or simulates or works exactly like a contactless closed loop or open loop contactless card. Then the second phase would be accessing the card data through the keypad and the display on the phone. So what you can do is you could look at, for example, if you have some remaining value, you can look at the remaining value. The third phase is the phase that has the most complexity, and that is changing the card data in the phone memory. As soon as you change card data or change data, there's a lot of security, or the additional security layer that needs to be built into the application is going to drive cost and technical risk.